This segment will show you how to properly maintain your snow thrower and provide any needed basic service and adjustments. Proper maintenance will help your snow thrower last longer and improve performance. Prior to any servicing or making any adjustments to the snow thrower, make sure to shut off the tractor engine and remove the spark plug wires. You must also set the parking brake and remove the key from the tractor ignition for additional snow thrower stability and safety during the service. Before each use, you should check the snow thrower for loose fasteners and check the scraper plate and skid shoes for wear. Replacing these parts before any wear is excessive will help to prevent damage to the spiral auger housing. Every season, thoroughly lubricate the snow thrower's parts. Oil all of the pivot points on the snow thrower, including the pivot points of the two idler arms on the clutch idler assembly. Apply penetrating oil to the control cables of the discharge chute, and apply a good grade of spray lubricant to the chute tilt control assembly. If you should need to replace the auger belt, first disengage the tractor's attachment clutch and lower the snow thrower to the ground. Then release the spring tension from the auger belt idler arm on the bottom of the chute idler assembly. Then you can remove the auger drive belt from the clutch idler assembly and from the spiral auger housing. Install a new belt over the top of the large auger drive pulley and under the two side idler pulleys. Then twist the belt 1/4 turn to seat the V of the belt in the groove of each idler pulley. Then continue to assemble the belt onto the clutch idler assembly, following the steps in segment 10. You may also need to adjust the skid shoes to keep them properly maintained. The skid shoes regulate the distance between the scraper plate and the surface. When you are removing snow from a gravel driveway or an uneven surface, keep the scraper plate as high as possible to prevent possible damage to the spiral auger inside the housing. On a blacktop or concrete surface, you should keep the scraper plate as close to the surface as possible. To adjust the skid shoes, first raise the snow thrower off the ground and place a block under each end of the scraper plate. Then loosen the 6 hex nuts that are securing the skid shoes to the housing. You can then adjust the skid shoes up or down as needed, and then securely retighten the nuts. Make sure to adjust both skid shoes to the same height to keep the housing and the scraper plate level. You may find that you need to maintain the spiral augers in the housing. The spiral augers are secured to the auger shaft with 2 shear bolts and nylock nuts. The bolts are designed to shear if an object or ice jams the augers. If the augers will not turn, first check to see if the shear bolts have been sheared. There are 2 replacement shear bolts and nylock nuts included with your snow thrower parts, so you have a replacement the first time. For future use, order replacement parts directly from the manufacturer. Prior to using the snow thrower or during operation, you may need to adjust the lift height or level the snow thrower when in the raised position. To adjust the lift height, first raise the snow thrower to the highest position. Then check the clearance between the rear of the idler bracket and the lift shaft assembly. You need to have a minimum 1/16 inch clearance when in the raised position in order to avoid possible damage to the lift system. To increase the lift height, you will need to tighten the bolts on the bottom of both lift links equally until the maximum lift height is obtained. To keep the snow thrower level when it's in the raised position, loosen the nut at the bottom of the lift link on the high side of the snow thrower until the snow thrower is approximately level. Note that it is not crucial that the snow thrower be exactly level when in the raised position. It will level out when it is lowered to the ground. For instructions on properly storing your snow thrower when not in use and during the off-season, refer to your assembly instructions.